Second. Hello, everybody. I'm here with Tylor of Legacy Landscaping, and in doing some research, I found that buyers are doing more and more drive-by viewings. And what I mean by that is they're still looking the traditional ways, at least recently, right, online, but perhaps they're not comfortable looking in person, or they have more time on their hands, and so they're able to maybe go for a drive and look at some homes that they might be interested in. And so that got me thinking that curb appeal is actually more important than ever. And who better to bring in than Tylor Dahl, Legacy Landscaping. He does a lot of not only commercial, but a lot of residential landscaping as well. I thought Tylor might be able to give us some good tips, some pointers on what to do to spruce up the curb of your house. Okay, so Tylor, welcome. Thank you for joining us. What would be some tips that you might give to a homeowner that's maybe has their home on the market or planning to have their home on the market?
I guess number one thing would be just the keep up on the maintenance, keep plants trimmed, and do that, every year, if not spring and fall. Keep up on it, because if you don't have your house listed now but are thinking about it in a few years, and then you trim it, then they could look woody or whatnot if you trim everything too low. So keeping plants trimmed on a regular basis really helps everything look good and maintained.
So you're so keeping up on maintenance and not letting it get so overgrown that it becomes too much for you.
Right. And then another thing is weeds, also leaves and any dirt that gets into rock beds or mulch beds. Make sure to clean that out as much as possible, because if rock gets dirty and those leaves, degrade and turn into dirt, you're going to have a weed problem on your hand. And then maintaining the weeds, keep them sprayed, keep them pulled. If they get overgrown, it'll get into your plants that you want to keep. It becomes a mess pretty quickly. So doing the little things on a regular basis really, saves money in the long run, keeps everything looking nice, prevents you from having to redo things. So
sure. So you take 5 minutes here, 10 minutes there, as opposed to looking at it and going, because I've been there before where I'm like, I got to get these weeds taken care of. And then 30 minutes later, I throw my hands up and I'm like, I'm done.
Yeah. And another thing, the plant's being overgrown and it's full of weeds, you're going to look at it and go, I don't want to tackle this. And you're going to end up calling someone like me. We're going to come over there. And at that point, it's probably going to be a full remodel, rip out all the plants, clean out the weeds, and then generally you're not saving the rock. You're going to be ripping everything out, total redo. And there's quite a cost associated with something like that. So just the keeping up on the maintenance now will help save money and keep everything simple in the long run.
And so, Tylor, if somebody wanted to go a little bit above and beyond, keeping it clean and maintained, and maybe they wanted to put some plants, some bushes in, some perennials, would there be any that you would recommend that hold up well in North Dakota?
Generally speaking, there's such a difference in taste across the market that people, some people don't like evergreens, some people do, some people, want color, some people want things to be looking a little more modern. Just generally speaking, pay attention to the tag. Most greenhouses in, Bismarck that I've noticed only sell plants that are hardy in North Dakota, but you do need to pay attention to how much sun they need, how much shade they need, how big it gets. If you're putting it in an area and it looks good now, you do need to pay attention to, okay, it's going to get this big, and that's one main thing, is to leave enough space around. The first year you plant plants, it should look sparse, and 5 years into it, it'll be growing in. You keep everything trimmed, it'll look great then.
Okay. And so would you be able to name maybe one or two, say, bushes or perennials that you're aware of that are maybe have mass appeal, that maybe do hold up in the North Dakota winter, or that maybe don't take a lot of maintenance? So someone going out, they can say, oh yeah, that's right, Tylor from Legacy Landscaping said if I do this one, it should hold up pretty well.
Generally something like a lily or just one of those natural grasses. those really are the best thing to plant. They can handle drought. It's very hard to kill, and there's not a lot of maintenance. If you let it go, it will grow through, but generally all you have to do is cut off the dead in the spring and the plant will grow. So
Okay.
those two things, it's not going to overgrow, but they add some color, add some flowering. The grasses add some green, some depth, and they look good in the winter. It's better than nothing. So
Sure. And if you had one piece of advice, I think you already gave it, but if you had one piece of advice to give a homeowner on going from where they may be now to where they want to be, maybe it's where do you start, where do you finish, what would that be?
I guess I would go with probably, less is more, generally speaking. If you try to get too many plants in there, it's going to look cluttered. If it doesn't hurt also to add, a statue or a piece of yard art, to stand out. But if you get too much of that going on, it looks like too much. So, maybe have a nice centerpiece, have a few plants that are taller, some that are shorter. It'll add depth to the whole landscape. So less is more, really pay attention to how big plants will get and allow that space for those plants. So, and then having the different, depths. So a few taller plants generally in the back, shorter ones in the front, a little bit of different color. Nothing's perfect in nature. So staggering generally, unless it's like a modern design, don't put things in a straight line, so other than that, basically less is more, in my opinion.
Okay, fair enough. Now, Tyler, what are some things? Tell us a little bit about your company, Legacy Landscaping. How long have you been around? What do you guys specialize in, and how can people reach you?
Yeah, I guess I started in 2014. Before that, I worked for another local company as a foreman. Kind of got into design. I really liked it, so I thought I'd go out on my own. I can be reached on Facebook, website is legacylandscapingnd.com. We specialize in just about everything outside. The only thing we don't do is decks, I guess. But I really enjoy doing, outdoor living spaces, expanding the square footage, of your house. That really, really goes a long way. I'm sure of selling a house too. If you're on the market, having a nice outdoor living space, and it doesn't have to be, a crazy budget for something like that either. Just creating square footage outside that's useful. So,
right. Okay. So legacylandscapingnd.com. That's where they can find your contact information. You're on Facebook as well.
Yep.
Okay. Summer, you do that. Snow removal, at least commercial snow removal in the winter.
Yeah, we generally do commercial snow removal in the winter. Our equipment's a little bit too big for a general driveway. So.
Sure. Okay.
Yep.
Fair enough. Well, folks, I could also personally vouch for Tylor and Legacy Landscaping. They do a great job. If you have any questions, need anything, feel free to get on their website, legacylandscapingnd.com. You can find his contact information. Also, pop them an email at legacy.landscaping@live.com. He's a great guy, straight shooter, honest, and fair. So I could personally vouch for that. Tylor, thank you so much for joining today. Again, folks, buyers are still out there. A lot of homes, in fact, have gone under contract in just the last week. Curb appeal is extremely important. Buyers have more time in their hands. They might be driving by, and they are. So, Tylor, again, thank you for stopping by today. Really appreciate your time. Folks, give him a call if you have any landscaping needs. He's a great guy and runs a great business. So, thanks again, sir. Appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem.
Tired of hearing it, but wash your hands and we'll catch you next time.
All right, thanks.